A lot of you might already know who I am. For those of you that don't, you might have me confused with Jack Tripper. That's right. I know we have a lot in common. I tend to typically share a house with two women. Jack Tripper tends to share a house with two women. I tend to usually have a sleazy right-hand man wearing gold chains, nothing but chest pubes that extend past a thick FUBU jacket. And Jack Tripper has Larry, who is also the same guy as Harry's friend on Empty Nest, the neighbor, the airline pilot, which is also the real life version of the Quagmire animated character. Larry, that one guy, and Quagmire, all the same. Now, also, I know this is hard to believe, but due to mistaken identity, Jack Tripper and I, both the manliest ladies' man there is in the world for our generation, have both been mistaken for gay. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that, but just mistaken identity all the way. I've also been confused with a meth-dealing wife beater. Crazy kids. Well, Jack Tripper is a wonderful French cook, and I am a great Italian cook. Jack Tripper once wrestled a bear to the ground to save a baby seal while in the middle of a burning building, all with one arm tied behind his back and smoking a full pack of cigarettes in a single drag. It was called the 1979 Disco Inferno Tower Palooza. Was it an accident? Was it some miracle? No, it was something people sold tickets to. In fact, I believe it was the late grandson of Barnum and Bailey Circus that orchestrated this magnificent event, which saw a New York skyscraper burn to the ground, 11 people dead, and 43 injured, including the death of one seal, one bear, and one penguin. And this is exactly where George Thorogood got the idea for one bourbon, one scotch, and one beer. It's also said that after George Thorogood wrote one bourbon, one scotch, and one beer, he originally dedicated it to Jack Tripper. Then Jack Tripper decided to go ahead and call him a pussy as he wakes up drinking one bourbon, one scotch, and one beer. In fact, Jack Tripper's debt that he owes down at the Regal Beagle is so large that they say his tab could easily pay the entire deficit of the United States, as well as take us completely off of the central banking standard fiat currency that we know today as the petrodollar. Jack Tripper, in fact, they say that if the groundhog sees his shadow on February 2nd, Jack Tripper typically shows up drunk that night to his stump, banging on it, demanding that the groundhog come out and face him in an arm wrestling match, like over the top. Whoever wins gets custody of the other one's kid. It's said that the groundhog, who now sports an entire handlebar mustache and shaved head, welcomes Jack Tripper on his annual arm wrestling visit and greets him by downing an entire steel can of motor oil. That's something me and that groundhog have in common. He likes to drink motor oil, and I prefer orange juice. Also, I don't know if you've noticed, but it was me and Jack Tripper that were sitting at the exact same table, same cafe table, down there at the Regal Beagle, whenever Andrew Dice Clay gave his first stand-up performance in 1981. This actually happens to be 1 year before I was born, and that's just the kind of man I am. I don't need a woman to complete me. I walked on this earth as a little tiny sperm with the legs and feet. And then I fertilized my own egg and grew myself. No womb, because I'm a real man. I did it all inside of an empty beer can. Jack Tripper, Mike Wright. Sound pretty much the same to me. And I tell you what, the next time you're out alone in an alley, you better ask yourself, am I a female lady working for the night? Am I a sex worker? And more importantly, ask yourself, am I Wales, Scotland, British born? Am I wandering those dark London streets? Because if you say yes to these questions, and you're a young lady that prostitutes herself around London, combing those back alleys late at night, then you just might run into the man himself, Jack the Tripper. It's said that Jack the Tripper has slain over 40 whores in London, flew back to the United States where he met up with his good buddy H.H. Holmes back in the early 1900s when H.H. Holmes had a murder castle where he murdered a bunch of whores. While he was the original Jack the Ripper, it was Jack the Tripper who carried on the Ripper legacy. And H.H. Holmes is still alive today, as he's 147 years old, and Jack Tripper has learned how to reverse age himself from H.H. Holmes. He faked his death so he could assume the new identity. Who is his new identity, you ask? Well, I don't know. He could be anyone. He could be even you. He might even be looking at you right now. Jack the Tripper. Holmes. H. Regal, Beagle. Larry. Mr. Rover. Take some gang. Bada bang, two chicks. Don't you go coming knocking on my door. Especially if you selling something. Get the fuck out of here.